That's how it starts out, right?
Glucose is a
Or is
monosaccharide.
that protein?
Yeah, glucose is a monosaccharide. And then sucrose, your brown sugar, and your white sugar.
That's disaccharides.
Disaccharides.
And then you have your polysaccharides.
And then you have all sorts of different lengths of polysaccharides. You know, some are easy to break down and chop up, you know, and others are difficult to chop up. You know what I mean? And are difficult, like starches, fiber, are long, complex chains of these things, and your body may not have the enzymes to break it down. Whereas animals like cows and sheep, they do have the enzymes to break down the grass and those sort of things into glucose.
Okay. Why is it so hard to get off of sugar?
Yes, there are about 5 reasons. One of them is quite simple from a historical point of view. I want you to know that a couple of 100 years ago, people never had so much sugar at all. It's a minimum amount of sugar in their food. They may have gotten the sugar from milk. They may have gotten sugar from other things. But the sugar industry revolutionized Europe. You understand? People couldn't do without sugar. For the first time, they were tasting something sweet. And it is slightly addictive, you know? But more importantly, your tongue coming off of sugar, your taste buds takes time to adjust to a different level of sugar and even a different level of salt. It takes a couple of months. So if you want to come off of salt, the food will taste like cardboard for a while. But then afterwards, if you've endured it, it'll start tasting okay again. And similarly, sugar, similarly. But then some of the big thing is the promotion. There's a lot of work that's been done. How to promote sugar in all its forms, in all its shapes, and so to people, especially kids, especially children. And so we just develop a liking because it produces satiety. We know.
When you say satiety, I'm just thinking marijuana.
No. Satiety.
That's what comes in my head when you say that.
No, but far from it. There are certain foods, fat and sugar to a less extent, but fat, when you eat, the small amounts of little fat gets absorbed, goes to your brain, and makes your brain feel good. Sugar, I don't want to get into the details. When you eat sugar, there are various chemicals produced in your stomach and in your fat cells that also go to your brain and tell your brain you are satisfied. Sadly, this doesn't work all the time. And sometimes seeing sugary foods and other things like that, eating it and tasting it, so releases these enzymes, these hormones, I should say, not enzymes, something called ghrelin and leptin, right? I'm getting into too technical now, but we've only found out about these things maybe over the last 15 years. So this is something that was known in the 1960s and the 50s, and so we've only really known about it. But there are these hormones that feed back and say you're satisfied, you're full, and you are satisfied. That's where satiety comes in. And sadly, some of these things can be broken. And one of the ways of breaking it is also the promotion, where subliminal messages and so forth are going out telling you this is great, this tastes good, it tastes wonderful. But we can function on much less sugar. It takes a little bit of discipline, a little bit of time in order to readjust your body. And you should not be fooled by a lot of the promotion and the advertisements and the way things taste, because sadly, foods, it seems, that are good for you don't always taste as great as some of the foods that are bad for you. Then I want
first.
At first, but then I want to add, you will start talking about glucose and disaccharides, and so there are some other sugars. I want you to tell you that 50% of the sugar that you see in foods today is something called high fructose corn syrup.
Yeah. You know what I noticed?
Yeah.
If you look at the back of a lot of products,
Yeah.
so you have your cereals, you have snacks, you have barbecue sauce, you have ketchup,
Yeah.
a lot of random things that you would not expect to see it.
Yeah.
It's you see the high fructose corn syrup.
Yeah.
Some people don't know what that is, but what I've noticed within the past few years is that at the front of the labels of some products now, it says no high fructose corn syrup. And it says that for a reason. So what's that?
Because over the last few years, we have realized the detrimental effect of high fructose corn syrup. It was developed in around 1980. Prior to that, the sugar prices were up and down all the time. Countries produced sugar, wanted more money. And countries who wanted to buy sugar said, no, we don't. So a Japanese chap, this was adopted by the United States, developed this high fructose corn. They took corn, they treated it with some enzymes, and they turned the polysaccharides in the corn and other things into a high fructose, which is another sugar form,
right,
and still sugar. And guess what? It was liquid, and it didn't start to change color. In the same, you could brown sugar for chicken and all that kind of thing. When you're doing pillau, well, this doesn't brown. This doesn't brown. But instead, it's liquid. So Coca-Cola and all these companies could have it in a big container ship and turn the screw and pump it into their factories instead of having to have sacks, and you don't have to dissolve it. The bottom line is that these sugars, this high fructose corn syrup, it isn't digested in the same way. I want you to consider to come into town from Calicut. You come along the highway into town, you might hit some traffic. For high fructose corn syrup, it carries you up to Fenton, all the way to Fenton, and try to come down with Green Hill. I'm putting it that way.
Right.
And in that way, it is handled by the body in a completely, it goes through some different pathways. And what it does, it starts to produce some funny types of cholesterol, bad cholesterol. It also starts to produce other substances, and it can help induce diabetes. Now, that sugar is about 10 times as sweet as ordinary glucose.
Really?
But if I were to test your blood after you have eaten high fructose corn syrup, it would not necessarily show a high sugar level. In other words, it's an alternative type of sugar, right? It's an alternative type of sugar that's not necessarily detected by the normal blood test. And because more and more food, just so you know, cereals, barbecue sauce, certain ketchups, not all,
Right.
And Oreo cookies and certain drinks, some of those high energy drinks and those. But if you're getting them from the United States and so forth, yes, high fructose corn syrup. If you're getting them from other places, it'll be ordinary sugar, and you could read the packet. So the high fructose is a hidden sugar. They hide it, and they now call it by different name, corn solids, this, that. They call it by different name to hide it, since we've broken the seal and said this high fructose corn syrup.
Right.
What it does, it also causes AGE. It produces a lot of AGE.
AGE?
Age,
Is that an abbreviation for something else, or did you really mean that you're going to get old?
Glycemic ends.
Oh.
It settles in your skin, causes more aging. It settles on your cornea, to cause cataract. It also settles a little bit in your brain, helps to induce some dementia. But it's the aging of the skin
Sugar.
that I'm worried about. Sugar, consider that sugar, if you can use sugar to brown chicken, do you think there's some other processes that could brown the sugar inside your body, in your blood, and so forth?
I'm not sure about that.
And so, what I'm telling you is that glucose attaches itself to different your red blood cells. That's why we do hemoglobin A1C, you know?
All right.
And I'm getting a little technical, but fructose causes almost 4 times as much of this aging if you're consuming a tremendous amount of this stuff, you know?
So it really pays to read labels,
Man,
and
labels,
avoid.
to know how to read labels.
Know how to read labels.
Know how to read labels, but more in particular, look for that high fructose corn syrup, but also look for the cholesterol stuff, and look for the quantity of sugar and all these other things.
Okay, so it's 8:29. We should be joined by Quartz Ready Cash this morning, so we will await their live link up at this time. There's another question I have. Which one is better, brown or white sugar?
You know something? They're roughly the same. Brown sugar seems to have a few more other nutrients in it than the white sugar. And I wouldn't want to say brown sugar better than because I'm a person of color. You know what I mean?
It doesn't have to be.
You know, it doesn't have to have the prejudice, but roughly they're about the same. But brown sugar has it. Similarly, honey, I want to add, is roughly about the same, but it would have other nutrients in it that some people may say has some additional benefits, but it's not much.
I say honey is good for sore throat and colds and
Yes.
coughs.
All those sort of
All right, so we got Ready Cash online. Hello, good morning.
Good morning, and how are you?
I am doing well. How are you?
I am quite well. Coach Ready Cash in the home.
All right, let's talk some money.
Yes, let's do that. Just that. So it's Coach Ready Cash. It's ready when you are. Let me begin by saying where we're located. We're opposite the post office, right next to Lady Jane Kingston. And our opening hours are Mondays to Fridays, 8 to 4:30 p.m., 8 a.m. to 4:30 p.m., Saturdays, 8 a.m. to 12 p.m. And you do not need an appointment at Coach Ready Cash. You can walk in and we will be happy to serve you. So let me tell you a bit about our product. We have cash loans, steady loans, and micro loans or small business loans. So our cash loans are from $300 up to $20,000 for qualifying customers. And all you need is proof of identification, proof of address, and proof of income. So for your proof of identification, that will be your national ID card, your passport, your driver's license, your police ID, your farmer's ID. Those can be used as your proof of identification, and you normally require 2 pieces. For your proof of address, you need a recent utility bill in your name. And when I say recent, it cannot be older than 3 months old. And if you do not have a utility bill in your name, you can bring a printout from your bank or a credit union showing your name and address. Just have the teller stamp and sign it. And if you want to go that route and you want to bring the utility bill and it's not in your name, you have to get the person whose name it's in to give you a letter stating they give you permission to use their proof of identity, their proof of address, and their proof of ID so we can verify their signature. All right, so that's what's required for your proof of address. So you have your proof of identification, your proof of address. Now all you need is your proof of income to be qualified for a cash loan at Coach Ready Cash. So what do you bring for your proof of address, right? So payslip and job letter. If your company or the person you're employed with does not you pay slips, that's okay. Your job letter alone will suffice. But once it's an institution where pay slips are issued, you need both your pay slip and your job letter. Okay? So you say, I'm not working with somebody. I get remittances from overseas. The MoneyGram, Western Union, you bring in 3 consecutive months of those slips. So we're in January. If you have October, November, December slips, then you can qualify for a cash loan at court, ready cash. Also, if you're self-employed, well, we have small business loans for self-employed people, and I'm going to go into detail about that shortly, so just keep listening.
Right.
So if you need some quick cash, maybe your insurance is due, something popped up out blue, and you need a quick $500 or $1,000, we offer payday loans in that space, and your payday loan, the $500 is repayable in 30 days. They carry no interest, but they do have a credit charge, but they don't carry any interest. Your $1,000 is repayable in 3 months. So you have an installment there for 3 months, maximum for your $1,000. If you figure you can do it in a month, then you can do it in your 30 days or your 60 days, but you have 90 days in which to repay this $1,000 payday loan. All right. And now we get, when you do a cash loan, courts is notorious for giving back and giving away stuff. So we have $100 quote cash back for every loan of $5,000 and $200 quote cash back for loans of $8,000 and over. So if you come to court ready cash and you take a cash loan of $5,000, you're eligible to get $100 quote cash back. If you take one from $8,000 or more, you're eligible to get $200 quote cash back. So that you can buy something in the store, you can pay it on your account. It's up to you what you do with your cash back. But we are giving you back something this January. Okay?
Nice.
And now our final product is our small business loan. And that's where I specialize. And what you require for a small business loan. So you're self-employed. You will have to be between the ages of 21 and 55. Your business has to be in a fixed location. Your business has to be in establishment for at least 1 year. And we need proof of your identification, which, as I said before, your ID, your passport, your driver's license, things like that. Your recent utility bill. And if your business is registered, your proof of registration, and as well, so a proof of income, we need 6 months banking or credit union transactions, because some people use the bank, some people use the credit union. So whichever one you're in, we need 6 months transactions from that institution. Also, what we require is for you to prove your sales or your purchases for at least 3 months, right? So whether you have on a program, a point of sales program, something that you can print that straight off from, whether you record your sales daily or whether you just put your money straight into your banking institution, we require 3 months proof that you are doing business. We need to see that you're doing business through your banking transactions and through whatever record keeping you do for your sales and your purchases. So we need those. Once you have those, you're good to go for a small business loan. So whether you have a taxi, a shop, an online store, whatever you have, and you require a small business loan, you can come walk us into Coach Ready Cash. You can ask me. My name is Mustapha, by the way.
Hi,
my name is Mustapha. You can walk in and say, hi. You can walk in and say, Lucetta, I'm looking for Lucetta because I need a small business loan. You know, so you can come in, you can look for me, or you have further questions and you can't pop in right now. You can call me at 493-3840 once you have a small business loan inquiry. 493-3840, and I will be happy to assist you. Now, if the phone is busy, you can shoot me a voice note, you know, WhatsApp, whatever, and I will reply to you as soon as I can. So, Coach Ready Cash, we're opposite the post office, right next to Lady J in Kingston. We're open Mondays to Fridays, 8 a.m. to 4:30 p.m., Saturdays, 8 a.m. to 12 p.m. You do not need an appointment. You can walk right in, and we will be happy to serve you. We are Coach Ready Cash. We're giving you back this month $100 quote cash back and $200 quote cash back if we take $5,000 or $8,000 respectively in cash loans. We have payday loans of $5,000 and $1,000 that carry no interest, and we have small business loans for all the entrepreneurs out there who need whether you need to restock, expand your business, you need some cash, come to Coach Ready Cash because we are ready when you are.
All right. Awesome. Thank you so much, Lucetta.
You're most welcome. Have a great one.
Same to you. Thank you. All right, and that was Courts Ready Cash for you this morning, the 16th day of January. We are halfway there. We're halfway there for those of you who are checking. It's now 20 minutes on to the 9 o'clock hour in studio this morning. We've got Dr. Jerrol Thompson and yours truly, Christal. It's time to take a quick break and come right back.
Courts Ready Cash. Courts Ready Cash. It's really so easy, get it fast. In 24 hours or less, you need a cash loan. Well, Courts got something for you. Ooh, Ready Cash is hassle free, get it with speed. Ready Cash is here for your every need. I promise it's easy, believe me. Yeah. Courts got something for you. Ooh.
Courts Ready Cash. Ready when you are.
St. Vincent and the Grenadines. It's a whole new world out there. Reaching new customers, getting faster. It's about shopping more for service. Cargo up to 3 flight to and from the USA, Trico, and the Caribbean Islands, providing excellent import, export, and e-commerce solutions. You have competition for special low rates on small packages and air cargo. Contact SkyMax today, 784-56400. Local agents, SwiftPack, Interprime Cargo. Call 784-456-5400 to book your ship today.
Whatever you are celebrating, birthdays, anniversaries, engagements, retirement, today is at Bar Kingston. Established for over 38 years, we are open for breakfast, lunch, and dinner with an exquisite ambiance. We have a set menu and 3 a la carte menus to choose from of adventure. Call for reservations at 457-2713.
Boy, crushing up. It's real good, boy.
Norwich alone good enough. My tires good too.
Tires? Where you get them tires, boy?
Out by Caribbean Tire Plus, man. They out in Addersville. Can't miss it. Look for the orange container on them. Plenty parking space. 7 days a week, all thing, man. Monday to Saturday, 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. And on Sundays, 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. Call them today. Caribbean Tire Plus, 784-432-4786 or email ctiresplus@gmail.com.
G&D Gospel Power of Praise presents the first annual Gospel Concert, the 28th of January 2023, featuring out of the U.S., Gregory Olive, Brother Don, Shamel Russell, and Deacon Kwame.
And forever and ever, I'll give
From
thanks.
St. Vincent, the band Blessed, Minister Pearl McMaster, Nigel Joseph, with special performances by Minister Elsie Williams and DDA dancers. Tickets are just $30 and can be had from the Nightingale Bookshop in Middle Street, Paul's on Back Street, Phyllis Workett Singer, and the Connection Shop in Camden Park. And there's going to be lots of giveaways. On the 28th of January at the Russell's Auditorium. Doors open at 5 p.m. Showtime 6 p.m. G&D Gospel Praise presents the first annual Gospel Concert at the Russell's Auditorium.
Nothing else sounds as good as WEF, the fresh sound.
Sugar, they just want to stick. No woman know that to see and know that to play with my head. If I can't get you, boy, I don't want no one else. You another one. My sugar, baby, so it's half my flower. You're truly all that you do. Guy in me, I'm loving you. Sugar boy, don't play with my head. If I can't get you, boy, I don't want no one else. Sugar boy, please understand. Don't ever give my baby to another woman.
99.9, the heart and soul of St. Vincent and the Grenadines. We FM is SVG. Nothing else sounds as good as WEFM, the clean, fresh sound.
All right, welcome back to We Are From 99.9. It is Activated Morning for today, the 16th of January. Time is now 8:46 on the ticker, and if you're just joining us, we've got Dr. Thompson and yours truly, Christal, in studio. Now, let courts help you recover from the holidays and put a little bit of extra cash back into your wallets. Beginning January 1st, you can save up to 30% off store-wide because we're going to give you great deals and pay your VAT. Now you can set those New Year's resolutions to help you get well, mind, body, and spirit. And you can also love yourself a little bit more with a little extra money to buy that new furniture piece for your home, appliances for the kitchen, smart TV to watch that favorite show, or gym equipment to help shed the Christmas pounds. Plus, if you pay with Quartz Ready Finance, you pay nothing down and there's no payment for 30 days. This offer is available in store and online at shopquartz.com. Conditions apply. Quartz, bringing value home. And there's a huge clearance sale going on now at Lane's department store. All reduced prices have been slashed even further. The management and staff take this opportunity to wish all our valued customers a happy new year. Lane's, your family store for value. All right, Doc. Let's continue talking about sugar. There's a question coming in from the live there. Good morning to Joshua. Good morning, Anne. Good morning, Lennon. Good morning, Shutnil. Good morning to all the sign-out listeners as well, wherever you are, however you're listening to WeFM. Good morning to you. Now, the question is, what is lactose?
Yes, lactose is milk, is milk sugar. So a woman, when she produces breast milk, it is a disaccharide that is sweetening the sugar. And when your body breaks it down, it's breaking it down into glucose and some other little substances. You know what I mean? So you're not getting glucose from milk, from milk. You're getting lactose, right? And in malt sugar, there's something called maltose, right? Is another disaccharide, you know, so sucrose. And in fruit, that's where you have fructose. But one of the great things about fruit is that many fruits have a lot of fiber in it, soluble fiber. So you're not absorbing the fructose from fruits in the same way as this high fructose corn syrup. It's different. You know what I mean?
Right.
And that may be a little hard to explain. But for milk, the sweetening agent in milk is lactose. And sadly, there are a few people who can't properly digest the lactose and break it down. You need an enzyme to split it off into glucose and this other stuff. You know what I mean? And some people, they lose that enzyme early in life. The intestines can't produce it anymore. And so the milk you eat starts to ferment inside your body and build up. You start passing a lot of gas.
Oh, that's what
belching.
happens.
And
you get, that's why you get bloated?
You get bloated and
Well,
so everything like that.
butter my buns.
But most people can still digest it because they have enough of the lactase enzyme to break down the lactose. I think we missed that call there.
Oh, I'm sorry, but like you were explaining
Yes.
the lactose.
Yes.
A number of people are lactose intolerant. They know it and they still eat and drink.
Yes, and there are things you could do. You know something? You could sprinkle a little bit of lactase on your food, the enzyme.
But you have to buy that.
You have to buy that.
I mean, there are some alternatives, like different types of milk and different ice creams. Hello, good morning.
Good morning, Sister Christal. Good morning, Doc. How are you?
How are you?
Doc, I just called, what I called in to wish you all the best for New Year, and I'm begging you, please, the kind of divisive behavior we're having, you have to help us. Help the people in authority to be able to be more receptive. We are seeing a very good sign now with the Republicans. A lot of people don't like them, but we're seeing now they're pledging that the American people would be part of the government. And all I want is that. I don't want nobody coming and say, I'm going to give me no new car. You don't want no politician.
Mr. Hamilton?
Yes, my sister. I just
what is your topic?
I want to ask Doc a question. Doc, could you help me whether now or tomorrow or another program when you come? Do we have the bivalent D4 booster in St. Vincent?
Yeah. Listen.
You know, I call the authorities. Ask them a simple question. Call the hospital. Speak to a senior. And do you know they told me they can't tell me that?
Mr. Hamilton,
Yes,
we're talking about sugar, the consumption of sugar, and consuming sugar in excess, how it's bad for your health, and how to get away
well,
from
could
that.
I say a little bit on this show? Well, no, just want to ask that the question.
I think you've used up your time for this morning.
No, let me just
All
say a little
right?
bit on the sugar. The sugar is very important, Doc, but let me just say to you with the sugar is that a lot of the poor class of people are ending up literally in that very, very serious situation. I beg my wife, I said, we cut down on the sugar. Yes. How do we get poor people to stay away from sugar? What is the alternative, Doc?
All right. Thank you so much for your question.
All right. Beautiful. Beautiful. But you know something? That's actually a good question. Do you know what the solution is?
Yeah.
Eating more soluble fiber. Eating more fiber in your diet. I was speaking to somebody.
Okay, so what is okay? You mentioned before the fibers and like fruits, but
I was speaking to somebody from agriculture. You know, as doctors, we recommend you must eat your greens and eat vegetables and so, but the price of these things is a little so high that people can't really do it. Now, it's great for some poor people. They could do things in their backyard. They could grow things and they go to their lands and so forth. And some may not have that.
Right.
And so that's where the difference is. But there are foods that have in one of these two types of fiber, soluble fiber and insoluble fiber.
Oh boy.
The insoluble fiber is the very long disaccharides, very, very long. They're starches. And they're good to make your bowels move nicely.
Can you give us a few
Twice a day.
examples? Twice a day. Prunes?
Yeah, prunes. They say, but
Papa.
but yeah, all those sort of things. But I want to emphasize soluble fiber.
Mhm.
You don't see this stuff, but the stuff that have in avocados, zavoka I'm talking about.
Yes.
I'm talking about beans. The Prime Minister had gone to Nicaragua recently, and the amount of beans they eat over there, especially red beans, lima beans, and so forth, it's great. Peas is also good. And then you have provisions. I'm going to surprise you, like sweet potato.
Sweet potato, nice.
And also certain yams and other things. I could go down the list, but they have insoluble fiber. When you eat, guess what they do? The bacteria inside your gut uses the soluble fiber to help break down the sugar. So if you've been eating excess sugar, if you have soluble fibers along there too, they break down the sugar and they prevent the absorption of the sugar into your blood. So the amount of sugar getting into your blood. So that's why we found that foods like breadfruit and sweet potato are what they call a low glycemic index. When you eat it, it doesn't spike your blood sugar.
Okay.
Whereas rice and other things like that, you eat it.
The imported stuff,
your sugar start to shoot up. And Vincent just love rice, you know?
Yeah, rice is good.
You know, and French fries and all these other things.
Oh,
the
don't even
potatoes
start.
and things.
But you can have fried breadfruit.
And sadly, and you can.
As fries.
But many of you go and you buy chicken and chips. There's no vegetables inside there. You have that every day
But
of the
it's
week.
potato.
You know, and there's potato that is not the sweet potato, but it's Irish potato that is going to spike your blood sugar.
Oh, really?
And the lack of soluble fiber in that diet, because it's fast food, you're working hard and so forth, you don't have much money to spend, you know, you're going cheap. It then means that you're not getting, you're absorbing all the sugar that's going into your belly, you know.
There's a question here on the WhatsApp. So sorry we didn't share the WhatsApp number earlier. 457-999-4. But I think you have answered either part or in whole. It says, "Good morning, Dr. Thompson. Is it true excess sugar leads to unnecessary calorie buildup?" I think you mentioned that during the first part. Also, is it true processed foods harm the body by triggering spikes in insulin levels?
Absolutely, like spikes in insulin levels. That's what we call the glycemic index. Well, you know, what happens to, and I must say this and squeeze this in, is that the first part the person was saying there.
Excess sugar leads to unnecessary calorie buildup.
Yeah, well, they may have it wrong. Let me twist it wrong a little bit. You know, excess calories serves to excess sugar buildup. There is something called insulin resistance. I must say this very clearly. Do you know about 50% of people with high blood pressure are resistant to their insulin? Do you know certain pesticides in foods causes insulin resistance? Do you know that people who are obese, overweight, especially those who are morbidly obese, the fat absorbs the insulin, soaks it up like a sponge, and therefore is not available to walk inside your blood. But insulin is a taxi. It picks up the sugar in your blood and carries it into your cells. But if it carries your cell, and guess what? The taxi door car open. The door, the taxi, you've gotten a ride to Georgetown and they tell you, "Boy, you gotta climb out the window, or we gotta break the window because the door is locked. Somehow we can't open it." That's what happens with insulin resistance. And so what then happens? Your body starts to produce more insulin. High amounts of insulin. High. Then guess what? After a while, you're like revving a car. Guess what? Your pancreas that's producing this starts to burn out. I'm talking about 10, 15 years of insulin resistance. And the amount of insulin your body can produce, your pancreas can produce, starts to drop. What I'm saying to you is that most people who develop diabetes, their pancreas gets burnt out and they could no longer produce it. And it causes now, when the sugar is absorbed into the blood, there's not enough insulin to carry it to your body. So sugar starts to build up, glucose starts to build up inside your blood, higher and higher and higher. Remember, I was telling you about how when you brown sugar, what the sugar does do to the browning of the sugar,
right.
To the meat.
Oh, right, okay.
You know, it causes the sugar, when you burn it browns it. I want you to consider inside your blood, as sugar starts to build up and your blood becomes syrupy and thicker, all the different problems that could develop.
Doc, you're making this sound so...
It starts to brown you. It starts to brown you inside of your body. If you put it that way.
Really?
Plus, your thicker blood, higher risk of strokes, higher risk
Clotting
of damage to your blood vessel, clotting, all these other strokes. Inside the blood vessels start to get clot off.
But that sounds like higher blood pressure as well. Is it?
And guess what? This stuff also tends to link with it. That's why some people have what they call the double whammy. Sugar as well as pressure. You know what I mean?
NCDs.
And the NCDs and so forth. So this goes, I mean, I could go on talking about it, but those are very nice questions.
I feel like we might need a part 2 because you have not answered some other questions concerning your sugar intake.
The sugar intake, you have to.
And that high you get when you eat a chocolate bar.
You have to eat it, but you see, it's all designed. The sugar goes up to your brain.
It's a science,
and your brain is a science. If your brain likes it on a temporary basis, and you start becoming addicted, it helps to release these endorphins and so forth. And so therefore, you start to like the feeling you get from that particular.
Especially when you get stressed out.
But as you start eating more, sadly, with the last question there, the excess sugar in your blood starts becoming deposited in certain parts of your body. The worst place for it to be deposited, inside your belly. Not on your hips or your thighs or your back. That is all right. It's when it gets deposited inside your belly, we call abdominal obesity, that we start to see some big problems. Because the fat inside your belly, guess what it starts to do? It starts to secrete its own substances. You know?
All right, that's enough to get me. That's enough to get me changing some habits right now. I hope that for those of us who are listening,
it will take you some effort to get off the sugar high, and so. But you
because it feels so good.
It feels good. It feels good. Ice cream, it tastes good, but
so good.
And they promoted it to you that it will taste good.
I know,
and they're lying to
ads,
you.
they're like,
but they ain't telling you it's gonna feel bad after.
No, and then they come back. They invest in companies that help you to lose weight, and they invest in companies that help you with your blood pressure and pharmaceuticals. I mean, yeah, that's the way the world runs, because all they want to do is take all your money. All right, so we gotta take a break. It's 9:01. Sure. Yes, all right. Great, that's brought to you compliments Bank of St. Vincent and the Grenadines. When we come back, we have to wrap up with Doc. So if you have any questions, we're going to try to squeeze them in as best as we possibly can. All right.
Brick by brick, piece by piece, building with technology, helping wealth increase, starting small, building the future, doing more every day, doing more together. The bank we count on, BOSVG, our one bank together. Strong nations bank, standing long and proud. One bank, one voice, sing it loud. BOSVG. Hey, building our future. Doing more together.
BOSVG,
doing more together.
Good morning. It's now time for the Eastern Caribbean Central Bank's bank rates for today, Monday, January 16th, 2023. The following are today's indicative rates in Eastern Caribbean dollars for key international and regional currencies. These rates will not apply to commercial banks transactions with the public, and it's brought to you compliments Bank of St. Vincent and the Grenadines. The Barbados dollar 1.35, the Canadian dollar 2.01320. The Swiss franc 2.90933, Euro 2.91857, Pound sterling 3.28928, the United States dollar 2.70, and the Guyana dollar 0.01333. Thank you so much for listening, and thanks to the Bank of St. Vincent and the Grenadines for sponsoring.
Brick by brick, piece by piece, building with technology, helping wealth increase. Starting small, building the future, doing more every day, doing more together. BOSVG, the bank we count on. BOSVG. Our one bank together, we're strong. Our nation's bank, standing long and proud. One bank, one voice, singing loud. BOSVG. Hey, building our future. BOSVG. Doing more together.
OSBG, doing more together.
99.9, the and soul of St. Vincent and the Grenadines. We FM is SVG.
All right, 5 minutes after the 9 o'clock hour. Let's see if we can squeeze in. So I've already asked about like what foods you should consume and which foods you should avoid. All right. If you want to lose weight, you should probably move towards like sweet potato and breadfruit and things that are grown here locally, stuff, the important stuff.
No, I want to be careful about that.
Uh-huh.
I don't want to suggest you eat a whole breadfruit and a whole potato that is going to make you. But I'm saying those things are not as bad as we used to think. One, they're not poor food anymore. Yes, they're not hog food and so forth. We found that they are now superfoods. On any list of superfoods, sweet potato and breadfruit now fall on those lists. But I'm advocating still in losing weight is the quantity as well as the type of food you're shoveling into your mouth. You've got to reduce that quantity, plus you got to choose rightly. And add in vegetables, high soluble fiber and other things like that, and avoiding the stuff that are packed with processed sugar, refined sugar. Yes, that's what you got to do. And this high fructose content, avoiding those is another critical part of it. So I must clarify that.
Okay. So it has been said that if you use alternative sugars, it's better. Like, there's the stevia as well. Is that factual?
Stevia is about 50 times as sweet as I grow stevia out at the mangrove. Yes. It's a South American, native to South America. And you taste the leaves, it's great. You know what I mean? Yes, and it is not going to impact on your blood sugar and so forth. But I'm still going to go back. You need glucose to function. Glucose is not bad. Excess glucose is what is bad. You know what I mean? You understand what I'm saying?
Right.
And so it's to moderate and to keep things within the context of what yes, you go with some alternatives and so forth, but the real stuff that you will find in ordinary foods that you eat are sometimes unavoidable, and it's to manage it and keep it within the right framework.
Okay. So I saw somewhere they say that you should consume 6 teaspoons of sugar per day. Is that how much our bodies need? And I know sometimes they go based on a 2,000 calorie diet.
Yes.
So how much sugar do we really need to sustain ourselves?
Women need 6, men need 9. That is the average teaspoon. But so they've broken foods down into the amount of teaspoonfuls of sugar inside them. A teaspoonful of sugar will contain maybe, we could measure that in terms of milligrams. I won't get to those details.
Okay.
But food could be broken down. Now, a can of Coca-Cola already has in 9 teaspoonfuls of sugar. You understand? Number of foods, like some of those energy drinks and so forth, may contain as much as 15 teaspoonfuls of sugar. And there are various charts that you could go. Certain foods might contain a spoonful and a half, others 2, others 3. But what it's really saying is that in a given day, if you're shoveling in a number of teaspoonfuls, you will exceed your 6 teaspoonfuls that your body needs to be able to function. Those teaspoonfuls of sugar, once it gets into your intestines and it's broken down and it produces glucose, to move your muscles, for your brain to function, for your heart to pump, you will need 6 teaspoonfuls a day. But if you start to consume 30, 60 teaspoonfuls, that sugar has to go somewhere. And it's likely to end up in the back of your belly and create this abdominal obesity. It may also go in your hip. It may also go in the front of your belly. Yes, there's a difference between the fat in the front of your belly and the fruit and the fat inside at the back of your belly. People don't understand that. There's also different from the fat on your hips, on your bottom, on the back of your shoulders, on your breasts, or anywhere else. So putting all this together, I'm correcting a few things. We've simplified things by saying women should have about 6 spoonfuls of sugar a day, and men 9 because of some great activity, bigger muscle mass. Kids, it's even less than 6. You know what I'm saying? So trying to explain it in such a short time is often the challenges. But yes, women, the average woman should have about 6 plus teaspoonfuls of sugar a day. And so, no, you should imagine those people in the morning who already put 4 big spoonfuls. I'm not talking about teaspoonfuls, 4 big spoonfuls of sugar into their tea.
Wait.
Christal, you're one of them? You just do that. You put it, oh my God.
There are some people who use soup spoons to make their tea. Yeah. And you gotta go scoop. That's like your daily quota.
Yes.
And there. So as you mentioned that, right? So I'm gonna take you through like an example of a day. So in the morning you have your tea. You might put 2, 3, 4 teaspoons of sugar in your tea because it has to be. It has to taste good. Yeah. And then you have breakfast. You might have cereal. Cereal has in that sugar there. If you put milk in your cereal, the milk has in sugar again. Then you want to have a snack. The snack has in sugar again. And then you might your lunch has in sugar again. And if you dose it with condiments like some of us do, that's additional sugar. And then you might feel a little thirsty, so you want to have a soda. That's a lot of sugar. Oh my God. And I ain't even reach afternoon snack and dinner.
And you usually afternoon snack and dinner. Let me tell you, I have been trying myself.
That's scary.
I'm as guilty. I've been trying to shift to cool, clear Vincentian water as a substitute. It's not going to have any calories, but it's going to substitute out a lot of those sodas and those drinks that have a lot of calories. I make sure that if I do have breadfruit and so forth, and like that, I'm not eating half a breadfruit. I'm taking a few slices.
But you could eat half of a small breadfruit, Doc.
No, that's still maybe a little too much and so forth. So the fiber in it is good. Oh, you eat half a small breadfruit. What small breadfruit
Easy.
you talking
Let me
about?
show you how you do it.
Now, hold a second. What kind of a cocoa bread is half a breadfruit? You know what I mean?
You can easily consume a half of a breadfruit. You roast it, you slice it, you fry it, half a breadfruit done, right?
No. When
No.
you slice that and so forth, it's still the same. It's a ton of stuff. But nothing
guilt.
wrong.
The
Nothing
guilt this
wrong.
morning.
Nothing wrong with it.
Yeah.
But I think that we are positioned here in St. Vincent and Grenadines to be able to do something solid with our agricultural system of trying to encourage people to eat more natural, as opposed to the import bill is massive.
Yeah.
And we could help the farmers out, in terms of local consumption of a lot of these things. True, the price needs to be all right.
Yeah, because the farmers, it is a lot of hard work. You should know that it's a lot of hard work farming,
yes, of
and
course,
they
of
have
course.
to be paid for their efforts and the cost of producing.
Yes. You bet.
Things that are good for you, that are necessary, that our foreparents have lived a long and healthy life on, are now sometimes, or for the most part, out of reach for the average person.
They are. You see,
Babylon system.
you'd be surprised. The vegetables that people ate in the 60s, 50s, 40s, our foreparents, was rare. Now we have thrown scorn on top of those things.
Yeah.
And it's because it's being marketed. Get this other stuff. I shouldn't say this, because I don't want to say that it is marketed. If you are with a girl and so forth, you want to buy her some Kentucky or a Subway. And it looks as if you are being modest. Same like having a cell phone and buying a cell phone for her.
Hey, Doc, you can't bring me no bag of sweet potato. Say you love me.
But I'll tell you something. That would be true love. That would be actually true love if somebody's caring about how you are and so forth.
Yeah,
but
so sweet. For Valentine's, that's a good marketing tactic.
I mean, but it could be done. It could be done in a way where you have the breadfruit already sliced and fried and so forth, and it's done in that way instead of some of the other stuff.
True love is sweet potato and roasted breadfruit.
Well.
Maybe the Ministry of Health should take that
It's
on,
also fish.
Yes.
It's also a big part is avoiding the stuff that's bad.
Yes.
And eating more of the stuff that is good.
Okay.
I don't want to say it's just eating stuff that's bad. It's also avoiding some of the stuff that's bad, minimizing it. Lots of water, cool, clear water, or coconut water, things like that. You know what I mean? A coconut water that has already been shaved off and in a fridge, you take that out and put a straw in it.
Oh my gosh. You know the things, man. You know the things.
Yes. And I think that it works. It works. But we found that all this has led to people dying early in life. There were some studies done.
But you don't think that's what they want?
No, not at all. Do you know that there's, getting now to cholesterol that's linked with diabetes, there is what's called good cholesterol and bad cholesterol. You need your good cholesterol to be high. Do you know about 50%, in a 2015 study, about 50% of Vincentian women had a low good cholesterol level. Their cholesterol level was, I'm talking about the good cholesterol level, the one that scrapes off the bad cholesterol and gets rid of it.
Where do you get that from?
It's called HDL. In some countries, like France, they drink red wine and things like that.
So that's good.
Yeah,
we didn't even touch on alcohol.
Yeah, the alcohol is bad.
But
red wine. But the point I'm making is that the diabetes and the high blood pressure is causing these secondary effects whereby your good cholesterol level is low. And because you've been eating the high fructose corn syrup as a substitute because it tastes good, it tastes nice, and it be marketed to you, the bad cholesterol level has been running high, and it's causing blocking of the tiny blood vessels to your eyes, to your brain, to your heart, to your toes. So At the age of 40 and 50, you're all right. But guess what? By the time you reach 55, 60, you start to lose that ability to enjoy life as you once did, because the inside of your blood vessels have been blocked off by this bad cholesterol, and there's not enough good cholesterol to scrape it out and plumb it. You know what I mean? You do the plumbing to keep it clean.
It's like cleaning out your septic tank.
I clean out your septic tank. You know what I mean? Clean out your septic tank. I'll adopt what you say. But you got to do these things properly. And this is good advice. And
good advice is
unlike some countries where people are living in high rises and there's only some supermarkets around and so forth, they could buy stuff. We can do natural stuff, and in your backyard, you could do some really nice things that could help save a little money. You know, sometimes it needs a little bit of care that busy people don't have the time to do, but you could really help.
Make the time.
Especially if you have kids. Don't let your kids become addicted to the new stuff.
Yeah.
You understand? That's coming out. That's been heavily marketed. Subliminal message to the kid. Eat this, eat that, eat the other. And they come into you.
Silly rabbit tricks are for kids.
Mommy, can I have this?
Yeah.
And
No.
And you say no, and they start to cry, and you give
cry
in.
all day long. You ain't getting it.
Well, the thing
Go
is
eat a sweet potato.
if you start early,
Yeah.
our society can be a real healthy society. And the healthcare bill, the acute care hospital they're building out at Arnesville, on E.T. Joshua. You know, to deal with heart disease, changes in blood vessels, plumbing, changing your blood vessels and all that kind of thing, changing your kidneys, and you could avoid those things, you know?
You can. And unfortunately, some people cannot afford to avoid them. But then in the long run, they end up paying excessive amounts of money to fix the things that they couldn't.
There is definitely a sugar addiction.
It is. I can tell you sugar is really addictive. I can tell you from experience. It's 9:20, so you have to keep track of the time. Right?
Folks, I gotta go. I wish we could have talked a little bit. You know where I'm going to now?
A farm.
I'm going to a retreat.
Oh.
The Ministry of Agriculture.
Okay.
You know, so that there can be more after the budget, after this great budget they've had, there can be some. I know last week we were talking about the budget and housing and so forth.
Yes.
But guess what? This week I was hoping we would hammer home agriculture. The farmers, trying to big up the farmers of this nation. I like what's been said about traffickers and so forth, but the solution is that we need to empower the traffickers, we need to empower the farmers. Not pick one. You know what I mean? I think.
Yeah, but one would want to benefit more than the next. Finding a balance might be a bit of a difficulty.
But you have to, because if you have no farmers, traffickers, they ain't got nothing to sell.
Point.
You know what I mean?
Point.
And if you have only farmers, you need the traffickers, but there's another solution. Besides traffickers, we need marketing of produce in particular ways.
Correct.
So that we can go beyond. The traffickers could still function, but the other set of produce can still leave through other means, other systems, other marketing strategy. Do you know the amount of produce Sandals Beaches is going to require here in St. Vincent?
Yes. I remember when they had the ceremony
launch,
in Bookman.
Yes.
A lot of high figures are called lettuce, eggs, and so on.
Can we produce it? Can we produce it?
Well, they
hell yes, we can.
They encourage us to start getting.
Hell yes, we can. Hell yes, we can. I shouldn't say that. You know what I mean? But guess what?
I think we've gone past the amount of things that you shouldn't say. You still said.
What about sandals in other islands? What about sandals?
And there are other, and it's up to you. You the one who say.
Let me take the car. I'm sure there's gonna be a good car.
May have to go somewhere. Hello, good morning.
Good morning.
How are you, brother? How are you?
Morning, Mr. Queens.
It's not Queens, it's Long Island.
That's his nickname.
You're doing your you doing your Wednesday program today?
I am.
Hello?
I am.
Yeah, I noticed that.
Why?
I noticed
Yeah,
that.
yes, I am.
That's my fault.
But
Yeah.
yes, yeah. You notice I've shifted to agriculture now and so forth because
It's one and the same.
because guess what? Do you know? Besides tourism, agriculture is a big part of our budget. So I'm talking about budget. Last time we were talking about housing and so forth.
Yeah.
And we were talking about things at E.T. Joshua Airport, Burger King, and all these other things. And I was saying, please don't just have those things. But anyway, I'm holding you up. What's your question?
Yeah, there's certain when you eat certain things, it might make you blow some wind, some foul air, some foul wind.
Like beans.
So you it might be egg, it might be milk, something like that. But so you stop eating those stuff.
No, let me tell you something.
So stuff that cause you to just cause that cause to go to the bathroom that
No.
that get foul.
There is nothing wrong with flatulence. You understand?
Mm-hmm.
The issue is that there are different type of gases: hydrogen sulfide, methane, other gases. But guess what? It's the hydrogen sulfide that tends to, smell a little more foul. Let me put it that way. And there's certain foods that would induce that. So no, there are other gases that can be produced. I'm not saying those other gases are going to smell great, but they're not as bad smelling as that. So no, you know.
So all the bad smell isn't
But it's
bad.
nothing. But I
You're healthy.
I think it's all healthy, but it's all now. Over the last 10 years, Christal, we've now recognized that the bacteria inside your intestines is so critical. And some people are eating foods that's promoting some bad bacteria to develop instead. And as a result, it's causing a whole ton of diseases, offsetting the balance. So that's what's happening. So that eating the right foods, even though you might have a little bit of flatulence, whilst you have the right type of bacteria inside your gut, you're okay. You understand? You're fine, Chief. You know what I mean? So don't be afraid of that.
So you got to smell to see if that person is healthy.
No, it doesn't have to produce hydrogen sulfide. You know what I mean? It can produce other less noxious gases. You understand? Far less, and there's nothing really wrong with that.
Okay. All right.
Now tea, I've getting used to drinking tea for a long time now without
Good.
milk and sugar.
Yes.
But coffee, I can't drink coffee without milk. I could drink it without sugar, but
There's nothing wrong
I
with
tried it without just coffee without milk and sugar.
Yeah,
It's horrible.
You know something? I don't want it. It's okay to have milk in your coffee, and it's okay to have a teaspoonful of sugar in your coffee. There's nothing wrong. We found that coffee has some benefits. Nothing wrong with that at all. The issue in life is the excess of anything, or if your body lacks the enzyme to break down the milk sugar. If your body still has those enzymes to break down the milk sugar, you're gonna be okay. You understand? You'll be okay. And this is where flatulence and so forth also comes from. Whereas sugar, like lactose, if you're lactose intolerant, is fermenting inside your gut. That's not because it's not going to necessarily produce a smelly gas. It's going to produce gas.
A lot of gas.
A lot of gas. And lots of other reasons. I can go down the list. So, but it's okay to have a little bit of milk in your sugar and in your coffee, and it's okay to have a teaspoonful of
Was it powdered milk?
Of
Milk
milk.
in your sugar.
Now, I'll tell you something. You got to be careful. Though. There's a lot of milk that not only has the milk, but it has high fructose corn syrup inside the milk already, the powdered milk.
Oh, so like some products that have milk solids and
Milk solids, and so forth. the
Yeah,
stuff sweeteners,
get a label.
you know, the coffee, instant coffee sweeteners. Read the label, brother. Read the label. You know. All right.
All right.
You. Okay, you gotta go now.
I got to slip back. I've got time for you, brother. Go ahead.
You talk about eating lots of fruits and vegetables, eating healthy, right?
Yes.
You are a person. You travel a lot. How do you able to stay eating healthy while traveling overseas?
Well, you know, other countries are great. I'll be honest with you. I was just in Peru a couple of months ago. Before that, I was in Colombia. And boy, the fruits but they have different names. Like one of the best fruits in Peru, they call it camu camu, has the highest vitamin C levels in the world. Camu camu.
Higher than cherry?
But guess what? The camu, it has overtaken cherry. Cherry used to be the highest, and they found camu camu with some recent testing over 10 years that camu camu is so great. Guess what camu camu is?
How do you spell? It's something that we have?
Dunes plum.
You kidding me?
Camu camu is Dunes plum.
I can't tell when I
If you go in Long Island to some supermarkets, you will see sometimes there camu camu juice and so forth being sold for 16 US a bottle and 14 US a bottle.
How you spell that? Camu camu?
CAMU camu camu.
Oh, look at there.
Camu camu.
Look at that.
And
what is this?
And it's Dunes plum. Look at it. Is it Dunes plum?
It looks like
Christal, just look at Christal. I'm saying it is Dunes plum.
Okay.
I have 4 trees of camu camu Dunes plum out at the mangrove growing. I can't wait for them. But I also have about 10 cherry trees, so they're all right.
Yeah, look at it.
No, I'm not saying when you go to other countries they don't have healthy food there. But I'm saying when you go to another country, you're there for a short period of time. You may not have the time to get around to eating the healthy stuff. The fast food might be more available.
Are you eating healthy foods up there in New York and Long Island?
Yeah, but now when I go overseas, fast food.
Well, guess what?
But
Guess what? Tomorrow night, I am traveling up to the United States for a few days. And if you tell me I could get nice foods in New York because you're living there, and it's only when you're traveling that you have problem. What you're saying is that my arrival.
You live here already, so you know all the spots. You would know all the spots where to go and everything, you know.
Yeah.
So you live.
Well, one
you
has
live
to be
here
careful.
before. You know
one definitely has to be careful. Even traveling to the Caribbean. But what I want to tell people is be careful of certain countries where you have to make sure you wash your food, but certain countries, the water that you are washing the fruit with can be contaminated. Luckily, St. Vincent has beautiful, clean, crystal clear water. But you go to Mexico, and on the fruit, even though you've washed it, because you washed it with water, or the lettuce, you could have something what we call Montezuma's revenge.
Okay.
Montezuma's revenge. Christal, you know what that is?
I don't think you want to know. It doesn't sound like anything good.
You will sit on the toilet bowl for a week or so and suffer.
Oh, okay.
The chief, I want to thank you for
Anyway, let me give somebody else a chance to get in.
We got to go now. All right, thank you so much,
all the best,
Doc. Thank you, and have a wonderful day. All the best with you all.
All the best. See you.
All right.
Bye, everybody.
All right. Thank you so much. And that was Dr. Jerrol Thompson. This morning, we decided to talk about sugar and why is it so hard to get off of sugar and the overconsumption of sugar, what you should consume, what you should avoid. Some very important things that was said there. I hope you would making some notes in your books or some mental notes. I cannot believe that we have gold here, and because of commercialization, marketing, cost, we consume more foods that aren't good for us, and we consume them in excess. It's time to take a break. We should be joined by the National Lotteries Authority at this time, and while we await their arrival, let's take in some ads.
Alan Smith and Family Bakery, the worldwide name for all your bakery needs, specializing in wedding cakes, birthday cakes, the world-famous hard dough and light dough, multi-grain by special order, and now available baguette bread at all your leading supermarket outlets. And for that sweet tooth, currant rolls, jam buns, homemade